In this place, God forgot silence isn't peace. Silence is the price you pay to earn one more day of breath. My name is Valerius. 10 years, 3 months, and 4 days since the last time I spoke a complete sentence. My mouth is sewn shut with steel thread stitch over stitch, cold as a serrated blade. Every time my tongue brushes it, the taste of iron floods my skull. High Priest Malchus once bent close, voice gentle as scripture. A dog doesn't need to bark. A dog only needs to obey. And then he left this seam behind like a permanent collar. The first day they stitched my mouth, I tried to scream. The howl died behind my lips, and the steel cut so deep I blacked out. When I woke, I understood the lesson here: even pain is not allowed to make sound. They herded us across the bone snow field. A long line of ragged bodies so thin ribs showed through burlap. Chains on our wrists used to clatter, so the guards forced us to wrap rags around the iron rings. Even teeth chattering from cold was treated like a crime. Here, what kills you isn't the cold. It's the smallest noise that slips out of control. I set my foot down on the snow as if walking on glass. I inhale so lightly my lungs barely remember I'm alive. I exhale slowly so breath won't bloom into mist. I've practiced until my body moves without thought, because if I panic, I will tremble. If I tremble, metal will touch metal, and when metal rings out, the swarm will hear. They don't roar, they don't breathe, they don't need eyes to hunt. They come by frequency. Sometimes the blizzard eases for a heartbeat, and I catch a thin hiss, like a hairline wire slipping between my teeth, scraping my skull. It isn't a sound, it's a presence. I have watched men die for a sob, for a plea, for calling their mother. On this field, morality is a luxury. The only law is silence. The boy beside me, ashen face, purple lips, eyes too wide. The sound flares inside all that white like a spark in a powder magazine. The entire slave column freezes, then the weakest start to run. Running in snow is suicide, but instinct is always stupider than reason. The boy drops to his knees to grab the shield hands shaking violently. He looks around, begging with his eyes, as if anyone could save him from what he just summoned. I don't run. I throw myself under a broken wagon, flatten my chest into icy mud, and clamp both hands around my own throat, as if I could strangle the very sound of my heartbeat. Snow dust floods my nose. I don't dare cough. I only stare through a split in rotting wood. A white streak passes. So fast my eyes catch it, only as a reflection on ice. No footsteps, no weapon clash, just whiteness swallowing people whole. Flesh tears squelch wet and obscene, half devoured by the storm. A scream bursts and dies instantly like a candle pinched out. Blood sprays onto the wheel in front of me, so red it's almost black, steaming on the cold snow. A drop lands on my lips, and the steel thread tastes it before my tongue does. I see the boy lifted like a rag doll. I see bones break without ever hearing a crack. I see the chain at his wrist pull taut, then snap. I see a head roll away, mouth open, never reaching sound. And I see the guards, shepherds who thought themselves men, split in two like straw. I bite the inside of my cheek until blood floods my mouth. Pain to keep my brain busy, because if I think I'll fear, if I fear I'll breathe fast. And fast breathing is noise. Then everything goes still. The swarm withdraws like a bad thought. The blizzard politely covers the massacre again, white, clean, and cruel. Only red stains remain ink-like, and bones gnawed smooth, whiter than the snow. I crawl out from under the wagon. My legs are numb, but I can still stand. I stare at the shield lying there, one small piece of metal that traded for dozens of lives. I survived one more day, thanks to the most brutal habit of all silence and timely cowardice. I turn my back and drag myself toward the Black Bell Tower, far away where darkness waits, and where Malchus high above surely heard everything. They didn't take me back to the slave pen. They dragged me into the cathedral. A corridor of black stone stretched like the gut of a beast. Guard boots struck. But even that sounded swallowed by the thick walls. Dried blood on my clothes scraped the floor, leaving a long smear like oil. I didn't resist. Here, resistance is just another way to waste your last energy. The colossal oak doors opened with a deep, dull groan. Carved into the wood, tongueless angels wept in prayer. Incense tried to drown out the stench of blood, and dungeon-damp holiness painted over death. Inside, the ceiling swallowed the eye. Stone columns rose like gigantic fingers into darkness. Candles burned in long rows, but the light was not warm. It only threw warped shadows on the walls, as if the cathedral were laughing quietly. "You are the only one who returned." The voice rang through the hollow space, low, blunt, rasping, as if spoken from inside a sealed metal box. Malchus stepped out of the dark. Robes of deep red gold thread like barbed wire. On his face, a smooth gold mask. A face that had willingly surrendered its humanity. In his hand, a gold key. He rolled it between two fingers as if spinning my fate. He lifted my chin with the tip of his staff. Not tenderness and examination. Iron gauntlet against my throat, cold enough to raise goose flesh. 10 went out, he said calmly, like reading a ledger. 9 screamed, 9 became food.
You did not!
I wanted to spit on his mask, but my lips were sewn, and even saliva was a luxury. Why didn't you scream Valerius? He knew my name. That was more terrifying than the swarm. Malchus doesn't remember livestock unless it's about to be chosen for an experiment. He removed his glove. A pale hand, long fingers, nails clean as if they had never touched snow mud. He set 2 fingers on my throat, not squeezing, measuring, counting my heartbeat. Steady and hateful while my head was screaming. He tapped lightly on the steel thread, listened for the tiny ting, then nodded as if confirming a number.
Silence is discipline, but silence is also a tool. You could become a very good tool.
Malchus circled me like a smith circling a block of iron, searching for the place to drop the hammer. He brushed my throat where skin had hardened beneath the steel. "You think you are silent because you are afraid," he said. "No. You are silent because you have learned how to live in chains." He raised his staff toward the bas-relief of tongueless angels on the wall. "Here speech is sin, but noise is a cipher. I need something that can open the abyss with the silence inside it." I didn't understand. And the not understanding chilled me more than the blizzard ever did. When he let the key drop, I realized this wasn't a test of courage. It was a rite. Malchus wanted to see whether in the well where all beasts sleep, a mute could become a bell. Malchus stepped to the mouth of the silent well, a vast circular pit in the center of the church, its rim polished smooth by desperate hands. He released the gold key. Metal struck stone as it fell, falling and falling as if through stacked layers of hell. I watched it descend and felt cold breath rising from below, like the exhale of a sleeping monster. In my throat, nerves twitched from a strange frequency, heavy deep, like a sob forced into silence. 2 spear points pressed into my back. The rim was under my feet. No ladder, no rope. Only darkness. Malchus stood behind me, voice soft as blessing. Get the key, or die. I turned. The gold mask had no eyes, but I knew he was watching. He wanted to see me choose. In this place, choice is always a trap dressed in a pretty name. I closed my eyes and stepped into the church's black mouth. I fell. Wet, cold stone rushed past. I heard my own chain stretch into a thin line of sound. I thought I would shatter like glass. But before darkness swallowed me whole, I understood one thing: Malchus didn't want me to die. He wanted me to reach this place. The fall didn't kill me. It only reminded me that Malchus always knows how to keep me alive long enough to suffer more. I landed on something soft, warm, and wet. It flexed under my back like the belly of a breathing beast. I was tossed aside, slid through thick slime, then slammed my shoulder onto cold stone covered in crushed bone. Bones crackled, and I froze in terror. A long leg with a hooked claw swept across my face in its sleep. If it touched me, I would die before I even realized I was dead. I was lying on a sea of weeping hounds. Hundreds of pallid bodies wrapped in skin, thin as membrane, twitching faintly with breath. On their backs, translucent swollen sacks vibrating like water bladders. Each tremor drove a needle-thin hiss into my bones. Rotten meat and ammonia punched straight into my lungs. I wanted to vomit, but vomiting is noise. So I swallowed it down and crawled. For an ordinary person, this place would be only dripping water and rock cracking. For me, someone who has lived 10 years inside enforced silence, this is a wall of frequency. It scrapes the brain, stretches nerves like strings about to snap. I clutch my head, grind my teeth until they ache, blood leaking from my ears. I move on all fours, centimeter by centimeter, sliding under tails, stepping over claws, avoiding metal teeth that gleam in the dark even while they sleep. Each time one shifts, I stop and hold my breath until my chest feels split. I don't pray. Prayer is for those who still believe. I only calculate distance, breathing, rhythm, escape routes. Something glitters among the bones. The gold key. It lies a few meters away, close on normal ground, an ocean here. I stare at it, the way a dying man stares at water. I crawl toward it in tiny increments. The moment my fingertip touches cold metal, a nearby weeping hound twitches. The cry sac on its back swells, and the hiss inside my skull spikes. I snatch my hand back. I understand Malchus didn't drop the key for me to take. He dropped it so I would die trying. Then, I touch emptiness. Not empty because there is nothing. Empty because everything has been taken away. Silence. Not calm. A hole torn through the world. I inhale greedy as a drowning man breaking the surface. My brain stops screaming. My heart stops panicking. The hiss in my skull vanishes like someone flipped off a light. I crawl a few steps farther and see the source. An iron cage stands in a shadowed corner like an abandoned altar. Inside is Eulalia. Her eyes are bound with a filthy strip of cloth. Wet hair clings to her skin. Chains bind her wrists, yet around her is a ring of stillness. The weeping hounds will not cross. They lie pushed back as if afraid of being burned. Her skin is corpse white, but beneath it run black veins like tree roots. On her palms, I see dried yellow streaks like blood that cooled into metal. I crawl to the bars and press my face against the cold iron. I want nothing but to stay inside this silence as long as possible. Eulalia turns her head toward me as if she can see me through the blindfold. She tilts her ear, listening to my heartbeat. And then a voice does not pass through my ears. It slides straight into my mind, soft as a lullaby, sharp as a knife. You too have been locked inside his cage of silence. I try to answer. My throat spasms. The steel thread rubs my lips, raw, burning. No sound escapes. I only nod. Eulalia pauses, as if judging me not by sight, but by the vibration of blood. I can hear you, she says inside my head. Not your words, your survival. I shiver. For the first time in 10 years, someone calls what I've been doing living not obedience.
I have been down here a long time. Malchus! He didn't drop you here to die! He wanted you to find me.
I look up at the well mouth above pure black. For the first time, I understand I am not a survivor. I am a package. Eulalia tilts her head as if hearing the steel thread on my lips shift. I hear the chain inside you, she says. Not iron. Habit. I don't know why my eyes burn. I had forgotten the feeling of being seen, of someone noticing what I hide. I touch my lips, point to the seam. I shake my head, desperate as a child. Eulalia is silent for a moment. Then her voice slows firm.
Your silence is the prison Malchus built. But silence can also be a blade. Once you learn how to make it ring, you will have something he cannot take back.
I swallow hard. The word ring rolls through my mind like a hot stone. Far away, the gold key still lies among bones. Malchus wants me to take it and die, or leave it and live. But Eulalia offers a third choice, one I was never allowed to imagine turn his law into my weapon. And inside this ring of silence, amid rot and darkness, I feel something else, something almost like hope, and as dangerous as it. I am not completely alone anymore. The peace around Eulalia is like opium. I drank it so deeply I forgot Malchus is always above, like a patient hunter waiting for prey to get used to the snare. From the mouth of the well, a shadow descends, not falling fast. It floats held by an invisible chain of magic. A black iron bell carved with crimson glowing curse runes. It stops in mid-air, right above my head. In that instant, I understand everything. The key, the abyss, Eulalia, the ring of silence. All of it is a stage. Malchus is the director. He needs the beasts awake. He needs me standing in the exact place they will rush. He wants to watch what happens when prey is driven to the edge inside the silence of a captive. It doesn't travel through the air, it drives straight through the skull, grinding the brain like a press. The ring of silence around Eulalia shatters like glass under a sledgehammer. I crumple. The world spins. I want to scream, but the steel thread on my lips holds everything back. My chest jerks as if it will burst. Hot blood pours from my ears, runs down my neck. A drop slides into my mouth, and the iron taste makes me insane. I hear the bones in my head vibrating like tiny bells. I even hear my teeth clacking, a noise that up on the bone snowfield would have been enough to summon the swarm and kill me. Funny down here, I die by Malchus's noise. In the darkness, the sea of weeping hounds awakens. Hundreds of heads bloom open like rotten flowers. Metal teeth chatter. Slime strings stretch. They turn together toward the source of pain me. Their groans never become sound, but the pressure of their frequency compresses my chest like a stone. The alpha rises first. Larger than the rest skin, scar-tracked, its cry sac swelling as if about to burst. Every step drags slime into long threads. It doesn't hurry. It knows I have nowhere to run. I crawl backward, my hands skid in slime. My back hits rock. I'm wedged between stone and teeth. I glance up. At the rim, Malchus is only a small silhouette, a fake saint staring down into the hell he built, waiting for results. But Eulalia is not a saint. She reaches through the bars, grabs my hair, yanks my head back. My throat is exposed. Long, sharp nails slice a clean line at my Adam's apple. Burning heat. I think she is killing me. I thrash throat, wheezing eyes wide, because I'm used to my throat receiving pain from Malchus, not from a stranger below the well. But then gold blood flows from her palm and pours into the cut. It isn't warm like human blood. It's hot like forged metal and alive. It crawls under my skin, setting every nerve on fire. The black veins on my neck turn to burning gold, spreading like luminous roots. I convulse. My jaw aches. The steel thread on my lips feels red hot. I smell my own skin scorching and hear a new hiss rising from deep in my throat, an edge of sound that belongs to neither man nor beast. Eulalia presses her face close to the bars. Her mouth shapes a single word, soundless. Scream. But the order doesn't need voice. It carves itself into bone. Pressure swells in my larynx like something breaking and recasting my throat from the inside. My breath becomes golden vapor. I feel my body winding up like a weapon being loaded. The pain in my throat becomes a strange melody, as if my bones are learning to vibrate, learning to become a bell. I hear the gold blood under my skin like a taut string being pulled tighter. Each heartbeat is a strike. Each breath is a compression. I want to be afraid. But fear needs a scream to escape, and my mouth has been locked too long. So instead, I stare straight at the Alpha, memorizing distance timing the moment it gathers itself. The Alpha crouches and lunges, and for the first time I look at it and do not feel like prey. Eulalia whispers in my mind, still soft as a lullaby, but now a command scream. Show them what silence really is. There is a fire in my throat. No lava, molten metal. Eulalia's gold blood is rebuilding me into something no longer human. Cartilage melts and hardens again. I feel each small bone plated in something harder, colder. My jaw aches as if pried apart. My tongue goes numb, and beneath the steel thread my lips tremble with pressure. I stand in the well, gold vapor seeping from my nose and ears. My mortal eardrums have ruptured, but I am not deaf. I hear every heartbeat of the weeping hounds, every drop of slime hitting stone, every muscle twitch before they lunge. I hear fear in their pulse. They know. Animals always know when prey has turned hunter. The Alpha charges. Time thickens like honey. I see its slick skin tremble as it springs. I see the flower mouth open wide, metal teeth spinning like a grinder. I see a string of drool stretching between jaws. The pressure at my throat hits its threshold. It is no longer pain. It is certainty this must come out, or I will explode from within. In my head, 10 years of enforced silence flashes like cuts the first night they stitched my mouth. The first time I watched someone die for screaming. The time Malchus leaned to my ear and whispered that silence is mercy. All of it collapses into a single hot point in my throat. I tip my face upward. The steel threads on my lips glow red like instrument strings in a forge. One beat, then they snap. My lips split, tearing along the seam. I taste blood, but my blood is changing color now. I open my mouth and nothing holds me back anymore. I scream. No words, no language, only force. A flood of gold light erupts like a solar storm. Air bends into a transparent dome. The sound wave doesn't just hit ears, it slams bone-flesh heart. The Alpha is caught mid-air. Its face ripples like boiling water, then bursts. It detonates into blood mist and metal shards. The wave spreads, dozens behind it collapse, convulsing ears spewing black blood. Their flower heads fold shut, snuffed like candles. The cry sacs on their backs swell, then deflate forever. I hear them switch off the way you hear strings being plucked and cut. Each body that drops stamps a new measure of silence into the air. The whole well goes dead still again, but now it is the silence of a graveyard. I drop to my knees. My eyes turn fully gold. I gasp, but each breath crackles into a dry, static rasp in my throat. I open my mouth to speak. I want to call my name, curse Malchus, ask Eulalia. Anything to prove I'm still human. But no word comes. Only zzz, zzz, dry broken. I have power, and I have permanently lost my human voice. In the moment after the scream, I hear nothing, not because I'm deaf, but because everything left is too small compared to the storm that just passed through me. The beasts' bodies lie piled like torn dolls. Slime evaporates into grey mist. On the stone, a drop of my gold blood hits with a tiny tick, and I hear it clearly like the punctuation of fate. Eulalia stands behind the bars. The blindfold still covers her eyes, but I feel her looking in another way. Her voice returns to my mind no longer a lullaby. You opened the door, but every time you scream, you will pay a price. Choose who is worthy to hear. I want to ask who she is, why her blood saved me, whether I was freed or chained tighter. I can only rasp static. Eulalia places her hand on the bars. I feel a cool hush spread through the air, one small piece of silence she grants me like water to someone burning. Then a chain drops from the well mouth. An iron hook bites my clothing and yanks hard. I'm dragged across rock, my head spinning. Before I black out, I hear Malchus say to someone above, "Don't kill it. Bring it up. I need its jaw replaced." I look up. At the rim, Malchus's silhouette bends over small as a blot against candlelight. But his voice still dominates, falling like the gold key the Echo Knight. He speaks as if naming a miracle. That belongs to him. Malchus thinks he just named a new hunting dog. He is wrong. He just handed a weapon to his enemy. And that was the moment Part 1 came to a close. Valerius standing frozen in a sea of blood. Golden smoke rising from his throat, forever losing his human voice in exchange for the power of a demon. While Malchus's applause echoed like a new death sentence. This chapter was crafted to carry the true essence of dark fantasy, where silence is more terrifying than screams, and the price of life is sometimes higher than death itself. Now I want to hear your thoughts. Is Valerius an unwilling hero, or has he just officially become the most dangerous monster of the church? And what frightens you more, Malchus's cold, calculated cruelty, or the fact that Valerius is beginning to enjoy this destructive power? Leave your theories below, we read them all. And if you want Part 2 immediately when the Echo Knight turns his hammer against his own creator, hit like and comment. Part 2 to let us know you're ready.